Unified leadership. Let's move. Let's lead. Let's ride. Unified leadership. Light the flame, turn it up loud. Remember the name. Unified leadership. Power and pride. We don't just talk, we testify. Unified leadership. Heart and grind, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, croppers and rhythm, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, crowd on sway. Culture clay, truth and play. Sifu, Rafael, calm control, leaders in sync. Hearts of gold, focus sharp, the mission clear. Every step forward, silence the fear. Discipline, dripping, confidence, how we move together, we amplify. Who we are, unified. What we lead, unified. Stand tall, unified. Every time, unified leadership. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Steady and true, the sound of the few that follow new. Strong alive, this is the beat where leaders thrive. Unified leadership.
Well, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Unified Leadership. How is everybody doing this morning?
Fabulous.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Going to be a great day.
I don't know which one I like better, the bright-eyed or the bushy-tail. So what a great topic we have today. Eat that frog. Eat the frog. When do you eat the frog?
First thing in the morning.
And which frog should we be eating?
The most
Our number one goal.
Yeah, the most significant frog.
Well, according to Brian Tracy, which we have his, Jacqueline's got the book, but this is the latest edition of it. We should be eating the ugliest and the biggest frog, because that's what everybody's afraid of, right? Handling that which is uncomfortable. By the way, I need to ask, has anybody ever eaten an actual frog?
Frog legs.
Yep. Agreed. We're in Texas, for goodness sakes. I mean, it's a must.
Yeah.
I think they were more butter. It was more butter than it was frog. I'm just saying.
Yes. Hopefully, Coach Teal will be joining us shortly. I know he's doing another show, so hopefully he will be here with us as well. Thank you for being here. So, according to Brian Tracy, eating the frog is something that a lot of people don't really do. And what do we mean by eating the frog? I think it's really doing the hardest things first, right? Something that you keep putting off. And I love the fact that how he talks about procrastination is not a bad thing as long as you do it correctly, right? Who'd like to talk about first things or challenges that we need to take on?
I think one of the biggest things that people always do is like when you have to make, like I'll just use sales calls, right? Like sales calls, people are always afraid to pick up the phone and make the phone call. They might make the list, but they do all those things and they do all the busy work. It's like they don't do the income producing activities. So if you actually get up in the morning, if you know you have to make 10 phone calls or whatever your quota is that you have set for yourself, do that first. And then, because every time people will say, oh, well, it's too early in the morning, or people aren't at the office yet, or label the excuse, right? But if you just do it and you get it done, number one, you feel freaking awesome.
Right.
And it doesn't, you're not thinking about anybody else's time. It's your job. That's your work, right? So if it makes you really uncomfortable, do it first thing in the morning, because then you're going to be able to celebrate the whole rest of the day. And it's usually the first thing, that first step, that first thing that you have to like take a deep breath, like, okay, I can do this. All right, I'm going to pick up the phone. I know I'm going to do it. And then you get into a rhythm. But you have to, that fear or that thing that stops you from doing it, get uncomfortable doing it, because the more you do it, the more you will not be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest key. Whatever it might be, is jump into it. Just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Lean into it, and go make it happen. So many people, like you say, they tend to do the busy work, but they don't make the calls, have the conversations, address the tough stuff, and the reality, it's still going to be there. So you might as well just get after it and try to check it off the list and everything like that. And you'll find you create, it's like lifting weights. It's like doing anything else. You start to create muscles. You learn to take potential adversity. And I think that's the other side of it is you don't know what you don't know until you do it. So how do you know that it's not going to be a positive result? I mean, you're probably worrying or setting yourself up for angst. You more than likely don't need to. You just go do it. They're not going to eat you. The title might be "Eat the Frog," but they're not going to eat you in return. So you might happen.
Right. You're bigger than the frog.
That's exactly it.
Right. You're bigger than the frog.
And it may taste like chicken too. So
exactly.
Right. It might taste like chicken. Right. Right. Kathy actually just says that she has to do things slow and she's not, and she doesn't multitask. And I think it's a really good point. And I think it's great that she actually brought it up, because I think so many people try to do things, oh, let me do a little bit of this and a little bit of this. But if you can actually be focused on the one thing, that one task, I think of Billy Crystal, all of a sudden I just forgot the name of the movie. It's like that one thing, if you can do the one thing that you need to focus on first, you'll get it done faster. You'll do it with more focus. And you're not going to be all over the place. And it's true, we're not meant to be multitaskers. But again, you do the one thing first. You do whatever that one thing is, do it, then go on to the next. He talks about the ABCD, right? So have your list, right? Have the things that you need to get done. That A, get it done. And if you're working on a project, I love this, Darren Hardy talked about this, is that you spend block out an hour and a half of time and think of it as your bookshelf time. Sorry, my dog is getting involved in the action. And, you bookshelf it, set it for a time and bookshelf the idea that you want to do, work on that one thing and then put it back on the shelf, and take chunks out of it so that you're working on it and there's some consistency to it, but you're getting it done and there's a focus to it, A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever your numerical counting is,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and I love the way that Brian Tracy talked about how one of his clients was able to double their income based on handling what was important at their job. And because they were handling 17 different things. And when they decided, let me handle the first 3 most important things, they were able to accomplish so much more. And yet you can delegate, which is another important part of, maybe you don't want to eat the whole frog. Maybe you just want to eat the frog leg, right?
Right.
So therefore you delegate certain tasks that are not as important for you to handle. Because the other thing that we have to look at in business specifically, if I sweep the floors, could I pay somebody else to sweep the floors and I can do something more productive that will bring me more money for my business? Do I have to handle everything? Why do I have to wear 20 different hats when I can wear the most important hat?
Right.
And then give out the hats to others so they can wear the hats. And still, it's important that they also do it as well. Coach Teal will be joining us, and there he is. Coach Teal, welcome.
Hey, Coach Teo.
Good morning.
Sifu, that's, one of the things that I work with a lot of my clients on is figuring out what their do, delegate, delay, and ditch activities are. have them look at those things, like, look at your calendar and what's on there. What are those things that you personally need to do because it's your superpower? Only you can do it. You're the best at it. What are the things that you need to delay doing because it's not a priority right now? It's not going to reward you with what you need to do, or it's not as important. It might be the thing that you like to do because it's fun for you, or it's the easy thing, but you might be able to delay that. What do you need to delegate, right? Because it's somebody else can do it, or what just gets ditched because it's not in there. It's not part of your top, 3 business goals, your top 3 personal goals, it's not in there. So ditch it. What's it going to give you?
I think that's a big thing in entrepreneurialism. We tend to be chief cook and bottle washer, right? We tend to take on all the various activities. And my encouragement to folks is, being your core genius. What are you really great at, and what do you really love to do? You won't procrastinate things you're great at because you feel it too. You want to be able to do those things in such a way to keep yourself energized and go along. So there are a lot of different things that can be delegated. But again, if some of the stuff, if you're the person and you're the only person, now it is time blocking or taking, I always find it amusing when people say, God, I'm really going to work on time management. It's not possible. Time is time. We only have 24 hours in the day, 86,400 seconds, period. It's how you use them. It's what you do. We can't extend the day. And if we tend to extend the day, then we tend to burn out. We wear ourselves out. So prioritize. If you need a little more time, get up a little earlier, or go work out a little earlier, or do the different things, but put it in time blocks.
Right.
And work on it and work full out. I think the amazing part is if you look at many of the studies, they'll say in an 8-hour day, how much is actually full out work? It's a whole lot less than most people think.
People need to track it. Like, it's if you haven't figured out where you're spending your time, literally take out a piece of paper and track what you're doing. How do you spend each hour? Where is your time going? And it's really incredible, I think, when people actually become aware of where they're spending their time, or it's because sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, I didn't realize it. And here's the fun thing about it. If you have to write down everything that you are doing in your day, and the thing, and and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I've, checked my stocks, whatever, gone into, 5 times. Well, does that really help you? Is it going to change? Is it really going to change it? Maybe you didn't realize you were doing it so much, or, when you have to write down that you decided that you were going to be that you were going on social media, that you were scrolling on Facebook or social, whatever it is, and you write it down, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm really aware of this, and you realize where you're spending your time. You all of a sudden, you also realize when you have to write it down, you also stop yourself from doing it. It's really quite fascinating, right? Like when it's like keeping a food journal. Like if you have to write down everything that's going into the mouth, you might not put it in because you're like, oop, I've got to write that down. And ooh, is that really good? It makes you think. Or if you're tracking how much you're spending on your money, do I really need to spend cash for that $10 cup of coffee? We just become aware.
But it's so good and delicious. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm just going to share with you, like I just spent $10 on the worst cup of coffee, and I'm going to share something. I was sitting around a table and everybody complained about the coffee. And I asked every one of the people around the table, and I said, how many of you have complained or said anything? And nobody had. And of course I did, because the coffee was so bad it wasn't drinkable. And I said, you can't change it unless you say something. So if you don't like something, don't accept it. I was, do something.
It's a lot. If we don't speak up, we don't know anything. One of the things that we are talking today about, Eat That Frog, right? And when we think about Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, we also have to consider it's you don't have to eat all the frogs. Just eat the biggest and the ugliest one there is. And that is what people fail to do left and right. They avoid things that they know they have to handle. For example, you talked about nobody complained. And the most important thing that we have to do about a situation is assess it. Once we
Mhm.
assess it, then we know what we can handle, right? Is it worth even to complain, or is it because we're embarrassed to complain? So it's important that we understand where we are, what we need to accomplish at that point, right?
I think part of it, you've got to assess, you know, what's going to move you forward in the entire process, right?
Mm.
There's a simple choice. If the coffee's bad, you don't go there ever again.
Right.
You just end that thing. It's the same kind of thing, in business. If there's a certain portion of it that you're not good at, don't want to get good at, or don't anticipate getting good at, then outsource it. Stay in your genius, stay in what you're really good at,
Mhm.
and do the things that bring you joy. Because again, the other side of it is, as you take on things one at a time and you start to take off, there's a sense of satisfaction, and then you're going to go and do something else. As we were talking about the coffee, it reminded me of a buddy of mine. His son was going to college, and he gave his son $1,000 a month for spending money. Now, that's pretty cool, but his son was always broke in the second week or third week. And so they finally documented, and he was spending $700 a month at Starbucks.
Oh my goodness.
Right, exactly. So again,
Sorry,
part of it,
my math went way over
well, I
this.
know, and it did for me too when I heard the story for the first time. The point is, if we don't go back and do some reflection and looking at the things, we can do a variety of different things. If we attack the thing that we don't like the most or is the biggest challenge immediately, and we're not being successful with it, we can get educated on how to become successful with it. We can outsource it. There are other choices, but you can't take any next action until you take the first action. So the only way you can get feedback is to take an action. And
Yeah.
that's the chances of taking the right action the first time are negligible, quite frankly. We'll be off course far more than we'll ever be on course. It's not about being off course. It's about being off course less often and less far. And the only way you know that is by taking the action in the first place. And that's, I think, a big part of what Brian Tracy was writing in this book was take it head on. It's not going to change. The frog is going to be a frog in the morning. The frog is going to be a frog at noon. It's going to be a frog at 5 o'clock. It's still a frog. Handle the frog. Take care of it.
Yeah. Before we go on, I want to share with you. You talked about taking action, and so let me share this with you guys. Take a look.
Let's move. Let's lead. Let's ride. Light that flame, turn it up loud. Remember the name. Power and pride. We don't just talk, we testify. Heart and grind, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, croppers and rhythm, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, crowd on sway. Culture, clay, truth and play. Sifu, Rafael, calm control, leaders in sync. Hearts gold, focus sharp, the mission clear. Every step forward, silence the fear.
Boom.
It's a great song.
That was a quick setup that I did earlier today, and just to let everybody know that we're doing an event in New York City, in New York on Long Island, and then going to New York City, and that's happening March 13th through the 15th. Coach Theo, we haven't heard from you today, so I know that you have you're taking everything in. So, what are your thoughts on doing the hardest things first in order to accomplish the greatest things?
Well, first and foremost, I apologize for just coming in Um, this morning, I'm sure, I know Scott, I think Jacqueline, Reverend Emilio Ramon, we have what we call the roll call born to risk live stream solely for veterans. So, just operating in different spaces. But we had a young lady that came on this morning, and bless her heart, shout out to Kim Mosley. And she began to profess and speak about her journey, uh, sexual assault, a lot of different things that she experienced. And Reverend Emilio put the disclaimer out after she had spoke that, hey, I know this could be triggering for some individuals. And I'll be honest with you, as soon as we went off that live, my phone rung. A young man out of Cameron, North Carolina. I've been on the call with him, shed some tears because he listened to that episode this morning, and it touched him in a way. Going back to eating the frog, that was the frog in the moment for me, Scott, Jackson. It's real. Some of these veterans out here feel that, I'm gonna just say it. Some of these veterans feel like internet is the answer.
Mm.
But through, the resource of this morning, that young lady having the courage to speak out, obviously the phone call came, and, doing what I do best, putting that big frog first. Because I'm like, hey, 0830 Unified Leadership, Sifu. But again, that's the beauty of knowing that you have my back, brother, to allow that moment to occur, to step off and speak to this young man in Cameron, North Carolina, that I know very well, and that I could pour into and express to him the importance of that key word, discipline. Like, hey, man, you've been through some of the toughest things that I could only imagine. And right now, this is another thing that you could get through. So I really want to tell you all, I thank you, because it is so timely. I don't know what was in the spirit of Sifu and I when we decided eat the frog, the discipline leaders can't avoid. I couldn't avoid that phone call, and I'm glad I took that phone call. I'm glad, and hopefully, I hope he's watching right now. So I told him, I said, hey, man, I'm gonna jump into the next phase of unified leadership, and I can only do that because I'm unified with individuals that are all pushing in the same direction, that support one another, that uh, within their career fields and the things that they're doing, we could all collaborate, come together for a better, bigger purpose. So if you're out there listening, you know who you are. We love you, brother. Trust me. There's times that we've all experienced that sometimes it's like, man, it feels like the walls are caving in. But I stand the test of time to tell you, it's brighter on the other side. And like I explained to him, you have light. That light is love. That light is intellect. That light is greatness. That light is health and truth. And the health piece of that this morning, really brought that about. So Eat the Frog, man. I've read the book. I love the book. Uh, and I agree with what Scott said, man. Time management, that's something really big in the military. Time management, time management, time management. You have to manage it. And it's like, what happens when you do all the necessary preparation? You do everything that you possibly know to ensure you're managing that time, but you still fall short. Who's to blame? You start looking at yourself in the mirror, the imposter syndrome, all the different things that can come from that. But I agree with the great Dr. Oliver T. Reed, as he said to us down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Seafood. When we put our time with the Creator, he gave time its time. So if it's on that time, then we're on the right frequency. We're moving in the right direction. So, yeah, that's what my heart is right now, and I'm just grateful to be here with you all this morning, 100%.
Thinking about what you shared with us, so appreciate you sharing it, appreciate you helping somebody, because that's what unified leadership is about.
Yeah,
That
man.
sometimes we have to step out of our zone in order to help another human being. And the other thing that we're talking about also is procrastination, right? Um, So when we think about procrastination, and Brian Tracy really talks about this, it could be a habit. It could be a habit, and it's not a personality trait. That doesn't happen. It becomes what you think about or what you try to put off consistently. And like I said earlier, you can procrastinate with intelligence, or you can procrastinate because you don't want to tackle something that's difficult. And you go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. So, and Jacqueline, you talked about the ABCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
The numbering system, or all of these different things, but we have to put priority in our life. And those people who do that are the people that we're looking at and going, why are they so successful? I wonder, what are they doing differently than I am doing? Huh. Well, maybe they're eating the frog. Maybe they're putting a little Tabasco sauce on it. Maybe they're putting barbecue sauce on it. Or maybe they're just eating it like sushi, right? So think about it. It's doing the hardest things first thing in the morning. What did I do this morning? I always wake up. I don't know why I put an alarm. I don't know. But I do it just because I'm like, one day my alarm's gonna have to wake me up. That hasn't happened. But I don't know. I do it. And so this morning, first thing, I think it's, I don't know, 12 degrees out or something. And I know that I grabbed my phone not to look at social media or anything else, but to say, I grab my phone, I go, turn the car on. So my phone is a smart tool. That's why they call it a smartphone. So I use my phone to turn the car on. I got ready. I got all dressed up and everything. And then when I got my car, it was nice and warm, I go to the gym. I work out. Yes, I had shoulder surgery. That doesn't stop me from moving the rest of my body. Hello. So, yeah, was that difficult? No. It became a habitual thing. So I know what I have to do. I didn't procrastinate. Oh, I don't know. Should I go to the gym today? Oh my gosh, it's cold outside. Oh, this and that. So excuses start to pile up. The more we procrastinate, the more excuses give it power. To, oh, maybe I should wait. No, I came home, I showered, I knew exactly what needed to be done. So every day you have a choice when you wake up in the morning. You can eat cereal, which is not healthy, or you can eat that frog.
Get some protein in you, right? That's but see,
Protein is
I'm
the
the
best.
same. Now, granted, I got up and I got on a I got on here. Normally, I'm similar to you. I get up, it's the workout. It starts my day. And I remember saying this to a friend of mine. She said, I said, "Oh, I'm so freaking tired, so I'm gonna go work out." Like I got up tired, but I'm gonna go work out. And she's like, "I don't get it." I go, "When you work out and you move your body, it actually gives you energy. So
Mhm.
even if you're a little bit tired, it will actually help you with your day. It actually helps you with mental clarity. There's been lots of studies about kids moving in the morning and how it actually can actually help them start their day and be able to sit in class and learn better and be more focused. It's the same thing with us, right? When we start the day and we actually move our bodies and we start the juices flowing in our brain, oh God, it's like, we become electric. We're electrified because our bodies are
Mhm.
moving. Yeah. And I will never forget her saying to me, she's like, I don't understand. Like, why didn't you stay in bed? I go, because I wanted to be productive.
Yeah. One of the things that I had a client who every time I saw him, I go, how you doing? He goes, I'm so tired. So I said, I never want to hear that from you. Ever, ever, ever. Because what you say can become.
Yeah.
And then you start being sluggish and all these things. So I said, anytime, and I'm going to ask you, are you tired today? And I want to hear, no, I'm energized. And it changed his frame so much that I saw him smile more. I saw him be more productive financially. He made more money. He was able to be so productive that other people noticed. And it's because of the framing that he was putting himself into. Because if he's too tired to eat the frog, I'm not going to do it. So it's important to understand that even our words, right? And I'm not saying that you did the wrong thing by saying you're tired, but people who say that all the time,
Mm-hmm.
they start to believe it,
Right.
because the more you say something, the more you believe it. And I think when we think, and it's such a great book if you think about it, right? Because the concept is what? Simple.
And easy.
So effing simple. When I say effing, I mean fabulously simple. So
Exactly.
when we can take something that's so simple, but we complicate it, wow, life becomes hard, doesn't it?
Well, that's where the discipline portion of this comes in. I think sometimes people don't realize they have choice. They get so numb to the situation, whatever that might be. And you got a choice to jump out of bed and say, I'm going to go work out. You got a choice to stay in bed and go, I'm tired. But either one is a choice, right? And it's the discipline. It's what you tend to find out is, and again, borrow somebody else's experience until you have your own. When you get up and do it in the morning, it makes a difference. And it doesn't have to be the hardest workout in the history of ever. What it has to be is something that moves the blood and gets things going. And it's the same kind of thing. I think we get caught up in so much screen time and well, the first thing I'm going to do is check my Facebook, or I'm going to check my this or check. Yeah, no, it's still going to be there. Number one. Number two, there's not probably all that much value to most of it, especially early in the day. Anyway, get after doing whatever it is you're doing to get started. It was interesting. I had a number of great calls yesterday, and I had so many great calls that I didn't get to the follow-up from those calls. And that was the first thing I hit this morning, is I wasn't starting today until I finished yesterday. I just I'm starting to finish yesterday today because there was so much activity and so much great things. And in doing that, found a tool that I haven't been using. And I went, man, that would really be an adder if I did that. And all of a sudden you start doing that. And it's amazing how when you take the first action, it clears some space to the next action, right? Your brain starts going. It's one of the things that I learned a long time ago writing my first book was brain dump. Don't edit, don't think through it, just get everything out of your head, and all of a sudden your head opens up again. Well, it's the exact same thing when you're working, right?
Look at this book.
Yeah,
Look at this book I have here.
I like that book. That's
wait, and then I have this one over here too.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the
Jacqueline, I need your book.
That's right. The point is that when you take the action, you start doing things, what it tends to do is freeze up activity, freeze up space, and new ideas come up, and all of a sudden you get refreshed. And again, this all started with talking about choice. When we have some discipline, do the little things that it takes to get that discipline habitual, and then it's amazing what happens. I mean, that's the military. There's a lot of habitual activity there.
Yes.
that is suggested firmly, shall we say?
Yes.
I
like make your bed.
Yes.
Well, think about this, right? And you talk about taking action, but when a leader delays, everyone underneath that leader is going to pay interest on that delay, and it's gonna cascade. It's gonna amount to so much headaches, if you will, right? I like the fact that you talked about Theo Clay in the military, because what I've seen is the ones that truly handled eating that frog. Because when you get into the military, and Coach Theo, you can talk to us about that. All they do is feed you frogs. All they do is feed you frogs.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, a lot of people are tired of eating the frog. So when they leave the military, they stop doing it. But the ones that understand the principles behind it
Yeah.
continue doing it, just like you do.
Yeah.
You're very disciplined. You do all the right things. You're doing everything. You're helping people, and so you're still eating the frog.
Yeah. I really am, Sifu. And I truly think, man, I was sitting and a lot of times I think about from the leadership perspective. This is unified leadership. We know that. And from a leader's perspective, I think of all the times I failed, man. I literally could sit here today and talk about so many great things.
Mm.
But I tend to, I won't say devil's advocate, but I flip it and reverse it a little bit. And I think about that individual that's listening to us right now. And it's like, man, I don't have any discipline right now. I'm in a funk right now. I'm stressed out. I'm tired, all the different things and all the great things that we say as leaders, as individuals who have navigated, as Jacqueline's book that she just held up, that true north. Like somewhere along that path, we found the true north. And I think for so often, my sister said it yesterday, and my sister lost her husband last year.
Mm.
He played in the National Football League. He made bukus of money. Rest his soul. But they were in the act of making love, and he went limp. Big guy. He was a defensive end. She pushes him off of her in the act of making love, you all. And I'm just being candid and being honest. And she saw blood coming out his ears, coming out his nose. She freaks out. She calls, her grandson to call the ambulance. Long story short, he had a brain aneurysm. By the time they got him to the hospital, he was gone. That happened last year.
Wow.
And she's still going through the trauma of it. And she's my big sister, you all. So she's my sister. I don't have the coaching cap on when I'm talking to my sister, but inherently I really do. So what am I saying here, you all, for the sake of time? She said, I've been in the darkness, brother. And she said, and what I found in this darkness, every time I open my eyes and my husband's not there anymore, every time I ride by the hospital that he passed away in, every time I see a University of Kentucky football game or a basketball game and I have to think about him, she said, I've been in this dark funk, but some way I just keep going. And I'm staying consistent with just keeping going. And I said, well, Sam, her name is Samantha. I said, well, Sam, be careful with that, because if you're just going and just going and going and just going and going, no direction. And she was like, no, brother, that's not it. She said, it's just been the consistency of understanding the place of darkness and understanding that I have to keep moving towards that light. And she said, and that light is like right now, talking with you, my brother, calling his mom and just having a conversation with her, going and spending some time with, his child that is from a previous relationship, things of that nature. So when I hear Scott say in the military, that discipline, we call them nasty, Scott. They're nasty little young men that come from all across the nation, and young women. But they are so nasty when they get there. They have zero lick of discipline. And man, we keep hammering and hammering and hammering and we make them scream it all day. DISCIPLINE. Discipline is. It's the will and obedience, all order, self-reliance, and teamwork, sir. Like they yell it all day, right? As the days continue to go and you see the consistency, the habitual aspect of it, you see the discipline come, which leads to back to what you said, brother Sifu Rafael. I love you so much, man. When we leave the military, you've done it so much to where it kind of goes back to my sister. It's kind of like, it's almost like you want to go back to the darkness and just sit there and not have to do anything because you've been doing it for so long, so habitual with it. And it's what we all know collectively, all four of us, it's real burnout, like severe burnout. And then you start to realize that, man, my life is upside down right now. And here we are sitting on this stream this morning because Sifu and I collectively came together, Scott and Jacqueline, and we said, man, how do we take this leadership world to another level? How do we take the burnout to another level, the imposter syndrome to another level, the every single day being consistent to another level? So I'm a realist. I don't like to listen to myself talk, but I do like to really get the point across because I know there's individuals that hear this and they see this. And I've been on that other side of that card to where I'm listening at the conference and everybody's on stage and it's so amazing. And I'm getting back in the car saying, I suck. Those people are amazing, but I suck. Because I'm not doing all the things that they set up on that stage that they're doing to be successful. And that's what you were saying, Sifu. It's like the most successful people really do these things. So if you're hearing us out there, you have to do these things if you want any taste of success. Maybe it's not working out in the morning for you. Maybe it's the afternoon. But you better, by God, like Scott said, be disciplined enough to habit stack in the morning the things that you need to do that leads up to that freedom of being able to work out in the afternoon. Because for us military types, we can't always work out in the morning. Sometimes we're working on at 9 in the evening. So I just say, don't be discouraged out there, you all. You know, you're looking at professionals on this screen. You're hearing professionals. Those of you out there that are not visually seeing this, you're hearing us. These are professionals that I promise you, they've been through the gauntlet. They have seen the highs and lows. They've been on the roller coasters of life, and they understand through.
Ooh, he was about to give us some of the power, and his internet must have said, "We'll be
He
right
took
back."
in all the power.
Now he's upside down.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
I gotta boot it out, man. StreamYard's been I don't know if it's the weather, the snow, I don't know. And we don't have any down here.
Your volume went down also.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, listen, go out and come back. Go out and
Okay.
come back.
Okay.
That'll help it. So meanwhile, I mean, I love what he's talking about and the concepts of discipline. And it doesn't matter. Yeah, I love working out in the morning. Why? Because my evenings I'm doing other things. So, and when you were talking about discipline, it's about how we take charge. And by taking charge is, because think about this, high performers decide what matters most and they act on that first, right? So if you have to do business first, you take care of that. But let's not forget us. We matter most. So we need to get to you don't even have to have a gym membership. You can work out in your neighborhood, walk around the block. You can get on a bike. You can squat at home. You can do push-ups. You can do anything. Maybe you don't have time to go to the gym because you're so crazy busy. Maybe it's your startup. You're spending 16 hours on your startup, but you need at least 20 minutes for you. So don't forget you. You're the most important character in this storyline, right? And sometimes we are characters. because people look at us and they're like, wow, why is he or why is she? But we should never compare ourselves, our brilliance, to someone else. Listen, don't get me wrong. Sometimes your battery dies and you need a jump, right?
Right.
And that's okay. And it doesn't hurt. If you stand out there with cables and you got the cables and your battery died, and you go, oh, I'm just going to put the cables down. Nobody's going to see that you need the help. But if you put the hand and maybe you're in a row, you don't know anybody, and you just put the cables up and you go, can anybody help me? Someone. God is going to send you an angel, and that one person is going to come over. Maybe 300 people passed you by. I don't got time. I got to go to this meeting. I don't have time to help that person. And they keep passing you by. But one person is going to come over and go, how can I help? Let me help you with that boost. Let me give you a charge so you can keep going on your way. So they took out time because maybe they were busy too. Don't forget that somebody who's helping you their life purpose is not just to stop everything they're doing to help you. They did it intentionally. So high performers decide what matters most, and they do it first. Jacqueline talked about the ABCs, right? Take care of all your A's way before. So a lot of people live in the C's. The C's of doubt, the C's of I want to be able to do this, but I can't be like that one. And when I go A, B, C, so the C's kind of worked out because you're going to be drowning in C's. Meanwhile, you can be handling the A's. So maybe you got to swim in your C's quickly and get to the A's.
Yeah. I was just thinking as you were talking about that, it's like, you don't want to compare yourself to other people. And sometimes you have to take yourself out of the things that compare. Like, what are the things that actually draw you down? If social media, I'm just going to use that because I think it's kind of like a big thing for a lot of people. If you keep looking at what people are posting on social media, or you see somebody's sponsored ad and you see that they're doing something cool and great, and it actually hurts your heart, or like it makes you go, oh, like I can't do it, then don't do that. Like, don't look at the things that are making you stop you in your track and compare. Some people think, oh, well, it can be the fuel. Well, flip it around. Don't look at it. Say, okay, I'm going to put me on that vision, make my vision board. I'm going to be there, and just focus on the thing that makes you feel good. If something's not making you feel good, don't do it. I mean, I worked with one of my clients, and oh my, she would have this thing that she said, every time I walk into this room and I see there was a person, the energy that this person had just would bring me down. And I said, okay, so think about that room. How can you not, if you have to both be in the same room, how can you not have that energy drain you? And we worked on all these different tactics for her. And and it's like, and her, when she'd walk in through it, she became a different person because she would feel better. And it's the same thing. So part of our discipline is, and we've shared, a lot of us have shared this, starts right up here with how we start our day and our mindset. So what are you going to do in the first thing in the morning to get your day? You could exercise, read your mission statement. If you don't have a mission statement, get one down on paper, right?
Oh, yeah.
That you, right? That you can look at every single day. I actually have ChatGPT reminding me to read mine every single morning because I'm like, not that I really need a reminder, but hey, give me that extra reminder, and if something's making you feel icky, don't do it.
I'll take it one other step, maybe a little different direction. Yep. I was doing an event a number of years ago with T. Harv Eker, and we always had such great conversations backstage and everything. And he shared a concept from stage that day that I just thought was brilliant. He said, if somebody comes driving by in a limo, congratulate them. not don't be jealous of it.
Mhm.
Congratulate them for their success, because if you want similar success, you want that same type of attitude toward you as well.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
really actually kind of the opposite of where you were saying nothing, about what
Right.
you were saying, but I'm just
Right.
saying that but again, a choice, right?
Right.
Is
But it starts here.
congratulate, exactly. It's mindset.
Yeah.
Congratulate people on their success. There's plenty of success to go around. There's 8.5 billion people in the world. There's people having success every day. Celebrate it with them and for them. And
Yeah.
but that's the other side of it, is that can then encourage you, it can inspire you, it can start to burn in your belly, that wow, I would like similar things. So the comparison thing doesn't, I mean, it's interesting. We tend to get thrown into that, or people try to play one against the other. And yes, it's been a technique for a long time to try to motivate people. And I said it on a show yesterday. I said, please don't ever call me a motivational speaker, because motivation is outside in. It only lasts as long as the motivator is there. Now, what I truly work to be is an inspirational speaker from the inside out, to create enthusiasm from the Greek entheos, of God's Spirit. Be of God's Spirit in what you're doing, and really strive to be the best you, and then wear off on other people. Purposely wear off nicely. They don't have to become you. Just work to lift them up. That's why I love this group.
Congratulations, Kimberly. That's awesome. Sorry. I'm like celebrating that. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Woohoo.
Yeah. So for anybody who is maybe chiming in at the last moment, we're talking about Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog, that book. And if you haven't read it, pick it up. It's a great read. Or you can even get the audiobook, right? One of the things that we also have to consider is that eating the frog may mean, and it's not literally eating a frog, right? But just a way of saying it, because most people go, oh, it's icky. I don't want to eat a frog. That's disgusting. Da, 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 da. But sometimes it's a hard conversation that you just keep avoiding. Or you see a person, you're like, oh, I can't talk to them now. I can't. And you keep putting things off. And a lot of times in a relationship, even when let's say you have a spat with your partner and you go to sleep and you're both sleeping on the same bed, but you turn away from each other. And then the next day you're kind of uncomfortable with each other. And then it happens again the next night. What's that going to create? It's going to create separation. And the best thing to do is tackle it head on. Hey, listen, I don't like what you said, or I'm sorry what I said, however the conversation needs to go, but you need to tackle that thing on. So instead of a division, you have a unity, right? Unified leadership, people. We need to unify in every aspect of our lives. So it may be that uncomfortable, the frog is the uncomfortable conversation. Maybe you need to set boundaries with coworkers, boundaries with family. Wait a minute. You mean I can set boundaries with my family? What? It's nothing new. It's just maybe you haven't done it because it's uncomfortable. You're going to hurt somebody's feelings. But sometimes we need to set those boundaries, and we need to be stern. In order for us to achieve more, we have to look at the bigger picture. If I allow all these things to happen, who's to blame? I say I'm to blame.
I think a
Responsibility every day. Every day.
Why Brian Tracy termed it "eat the frog" is it's not the most appetizing thought, right? And a lot of tackling the biggest issue that we might have is not the most wonderful thought. That being said, it's going to be around if we tackle it or don't tackle it. We might as well tackle it. We might as well get after it and do everything we can to have those conversations, because they're going to linger and everything from that side. So again, I think that this is a valuable conversation from the standpoint of just encouraging people to take the action. It's not going to go away. It doesn't get better. And like you said, Sifu, if in the bed, if all of a sudden it starts to grow apart, trust is the biggest thing that we all have. And if we're not communicating and we're not taking things on, it tends to deteriorate. And that's not a good thing. We'd rather have more trusting relationships than less. And part of that sometimes is having those hard conversations, maybe creating those boundaries or making those suggestions that, again, there is the old, let's just agree to disagree possibility as well.
Yeah. It's very interesting when we can look at leadership in a specific way, and we have all kinds of leaders in the world. We have ones that are self-serving. We have ones that are serving others. And I know the kind of leader I want to be is the one that serves others, because the more I serve others, the more I get served. Right. So think about that, right? And even in the military and the police and the whatever department you look at in business, you're going to have great leaders. And then you're going to have, I don't want to put a name behind it, but ones that, you put your own name behind it. Which ones do you want to think about? Because we've all been in their presence, right? We've been in front of somebody who you wonder, it's like, how on earth did you get here? Maybe they were eating bullfrogs. I don't know. But think about that, right? So why should we eat the ugliest and the biggest frogs first? Because those are the most challenging ones. And when we challenge ourselves day in, day out, everything else is easy. So, and think about this, right? Discipline beats motivation every time, no matter how many times if you were to stack them up next to each other, I'm motivated. And then you have somebody who's disciplined. That person who's motivated is going to be a short-lived time. I'm motivated to go to the gym, or I'm motivated to eat better. I'm motivated to treat my spouse better. No. And discipline becomes a habit, and you no longer think about it. Motivation is never a habit. It's something that, I think I'll do this. So think about that when you think about eating a frog. Has anybody eaten any frogs today?
Well, I'm going to share with you what you're just saying is when you're talking about discipline, motivation, discipline creates consistency, and consistency is going to win, right? So the discipline wins, the consistency wins. If we can do those, if we can be consistent in what that action that we need to do, we will create the success. It's that small steps. It's like, let's talk about animals here. Like, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. How do you, and will you see the results right away? No, it compounds. It takes time. If you're leading a team and you need to make a change, will the change happen overnight? No, but stay with the consistency. And a lot of times, people will stop doing something right when they are about to hit that tipping point, right? So just keep doing the consistency and be consistent at what that is. Losing weight. The weight didn't come on overnight. You didn't wake up one day and find yourself, 50 pounds heavier. That happened over time. The 50 pounds are going to come off over time if you do be consistent in whatever that action is, or in this case, shut your mouth, right? don't eat it or exercise, whatever it is. But discipline creates the consistency, and the consistency is going to be what we need to do to make those small incremental steps that are going to push us over the edge to have the success that we want to take that leap.
Yeah. Can you believe we've been talking for an hour and it feels like it's been 5 minutes? It really does. This is such a great topic. And I want to leave it with this, and then you guys can share something as well. So, what frog, remember, people, it's not a real frog, it's the biggest obstacle, if you will, am I avoiding because it threatens my comfort? It threatens my status quo. It threatens me from becoming great. It threatens my lies that I keep telling myself. So that's the question I want to leave everybody is with: what frog are you not eating? Because a lot of us, it's easy to eat the little ones, right? The little small ones are like, oop, oop, gone, right? But to take a frog that's maybe this big, just like the elephant, you can't eat all that at once. You got to take a bite, take another bite, take another bite. And you don't stop eating and chewing and swallowing that frog till it's gone. Because if you take a bite and then you go for the little ones, that frog is still going to be there. So that's what I leave you guys with.
I love that. That was good.
Anybody want to share before we log off? You have a minute. You have a minute. Go.
I will close by saying, I think about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has a episode on Joe Rogan on one of the big podcasts where he talks about licking the toad, and it's a one of the craziest highs that someone can experience, right? Licking his toad is it's the name for it. It's hallucinating and all this other stuff, right? Some people are licking toads, and total different concept than what we're talking about here.
Eating a frog.
Yes, eating a frog. So if you find yourself cloudy, murky, trying to figure out where to start, all the beautiful, amazing things that has been expressed today, and you're licking the toad, or you're um, utilizing outside substances to cope, procrastinating, and not moving forward in the direction you need to go, you're never going to get there. Big disclaimer, you're not going to get there licking the toad. You must eat the big frog. You must come to terms and grips that, just like Jackie said, it didn't happen overnight, and you're not going to get to where you need to be overnight. So, great conversation. Thank you all, Scott, Jacqueline, for coming in and pouring. I'm fed. I feel so much better, and I truly thank you all, sincerely.
Well, I want to thank you guys for inviting me here this morning. And it's a little bit early, for me, but that's it is so worth it. Just to be here with you guys, and this conversation has actually been it's been so fantastic. So I just want to kind of like share, if you're ready to take that leap, think about those things, the small things that you need to do to eat the frog consistently. Like, what are those actions that you need to take so you can take that one bite at a time, and you will have that success. You'll have unstoppable success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. One of the things that I do is I actually prep the night before and make the list and just get ready to start the day and then take it on. Do you get everything done every day? No, because sometimes it's a big frog, but you do whittle away at, if nothing else. So just stay consistent, do things repeatedly, and also understand that things don't modify overnight. Sometimes it takes time. That's where discipline comes in. Doing it consistently over an extended period of time, you'll be amazed at what happens.
Yeah.
One of my mentors one day said, all I want you to do is strive for 1% a day. And I kind of went, I was a little indignant. 1%. He goes, I know you're a super achiever. 365% a year isn't enough for you. Mic drop. It's plenty. A little bit every day makes a big difference.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I want to share with everybody that we do have across the screen for you to join us March 13th through the 15th. We'd love to have Jacqueline there with us. We'd love to have you, Scott, there with us. It's about sharing and teaching you. In case you don't know how to eat the frog, we'll have forks and spoons ready for you. We'll even get some bibs and so forth. We got some sauces coming for you guys. So let's eat the frog together. Come join us March 13th through the 15th. And hopefully Jacqueline will be coming up. I know you're going to Boston, but maybe you'll stop to see us first, and then you'll impact us all the way through. So we'd love to have you. And Scott, you know, you're always welcome to join us as well. Everybody, God bless you, and have yourself an exceptional rest of this beautiful Friday. And make sure to catch us again next Friday. Next Friday, like every Friday, is an exceptional time when I get to spend together with Coach Theo Clay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Unify leadership. Let's move. Let's lead. Let's ride. Unify leadership. Like the flame, turn it up loud. Remember the name.